All right, guys, welcome. Thursday Night Football Showdown slate, Tennessee and Green Bay. Not expected to be a super high-scoring game. We got an over-under of 41.5. But still, as always, when you have ugly showdowns like this, the positive is there's still good-sized contests here on Draftkings. Yeah, guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. Again, we'll be talking about the Tennessee-Green Bay Showdown. I also make videos for NBA DFS if you're interested in the slate breakdown for Wednesday. That video is going to be up right after this. And if you guys are looking for premium content, you can check my Patreon link down below. Prize Picks there, the sponsor of this video. You can use the code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. Had a good day on Prize Picks today. And yeah, they're starting to post some stuff for the game on Thursday. So first time user, again, use the code DKDFS, 100% match up to $100. Take advantage of that free money. So yeah, let's get into the video. We're quickly recapping the slate on Monday. So went well for me. I was all about, stacking Washington and GPPs with Jalen Hurts as the captain, and it worked out. It was a little bit unfortunate that I had Taylor Heineke, who didn't have a touchdown. A lot of touchdowns were scored on the ground, so that was the unfortunate thing, but had the right read there, and the game went the way that I wanted it to. So, yeah, I played it very contrarian, ended up working out. But, yeah, so let's talk about this slate. Again, Tennessee, Green Bay. As I mentioned, it's a 41.5 over-under. The Green Bay Packers are currently 3-point favorites. Neither team has an exciting offense. Low scoring projected game. So kind of gross. Derrick Henry at the top. I mean, obviously he's a good play. He should get, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 20 to 25 touches in a game like this. If they're playing from ahead, possibly more. Did only have 19 carries last week. Was a little bit surprised since they were playing from ahead that game. But yeah, I mean, the upside is clearly there, Derrick Henry. Now, could you fade him on a site like this? Sure. I think you can make the argument if you think Tennessee gets behind way early, then yes, maybe you go to Tennessee passing attack because he's relatively game flow dependent. He's not really involved in the passing game, so if Tennessee does fall behind, you can make the argument to fade. He's going to be very, very popular. And I'm not telling you to fade him, but I do think it's at least in consideration on the slate. Again, if Tennessee falls behind like 14-0 early, maybe they rely on the passing game a bit more and only give Derrick Henry like 15, 16 carries. But obviously, more often than not, Derrick Henry's going to have a good game. Looks good at the top. Ryan Tannehill, 9-6. I mean, both quarterbacks are kind of gross on the slate, but the quarterbacks do have a relatively high floor for the showdown. If you look at Ryan Tannehill's game logs, most of the time he's going to give you like around 15 or so fantasy points. So, yeah, he's playable. Wide receivers is kind of gross, but they did have 2 games ago, no wide receiver to catch. Last game went a bit better. You get a couple touchdowns for Westbrook Akine. He played 48 of the 62 snaps. You had Robert Woods play 50 of the 62. Treylon Burks played 35 of the 62 in his first game back. Hollister only played 9. He got a bit banged up. And then you saw 4 tight ends play, which we'll talk about here in a sec. But yeah, of the wide receivers, you have Woods, you have Westbrook, you have Burks. I don't have any super strong takes here. They all look relatively similar. I don't like Westbrook. It's not someone I want to I don't think it's like an amazing play because he had 2 touchdowns last week. I mean, maybe my favorite $1 play would be Treylon Burks. I would assume his snaps go up a bit. But yeah, Tennessee, they are a run-first team. But if they do fall behind, if you do get that negative game script, then I could see, at least one of these wide receivers having a good game. And I will say, the wide receiver rotation kind of trimmed down a bit. A lot earlier in the season, they were just running a lot of guys. And now it's mainly those top 3 guys I mentioned, Woods, Westbrook, and Burks. Tight ends, so Hooper would be the guy that, he's the main pass catcher. 4 tight ends played. You had 33 snaps for Jeff Swaim. He only ran a route in 6. Austin Hooper played 38 snaps, played for 27 passing plays. Kevin Rader played 13 snaps, only 3 passing plays. And Shig Okonkwo played 20 snaps, ran a route, or played on 9 passing plays. So Hooper, we're going to target a tight end. Looks to be their main pass-catching tight end, but he's also the priciest. So he's not like a priority. The Tennessee defense, I mean, this is an ugly game. They're fine. The defense people have finally been punished recently, which I really like to see. Just the expensive defense, right? When the Eagles 6K and they're like 35% owned, if you play them, you deserve punishment. And thankfully, they have been punished recently. But Tennessee defense only 4.4K with a ugly game. Green Bay not been great offensively. I do think the Titans defense is solid. Keep an eye on the kicker situation here for Tennessee. Whoever's the kicker is obviously in play. Hilliard's the backup running back. He's more the pass catcher. He would be playable in a large field tournament if you think Tennessee does fall behind big time. He did play on 26 snaps last game, so he did play a decent amount of snaps, only 3.2K. Didn't have a ton of production, though. Okongwu was one of those tight ends I mentioned. Did have 1 catch on 2 targets last game. And then Jeff Swaim and Kevin Rader are the other tight ends that do play for this team. And I mentioned Cody Hollister, right? He got a bit banged up. I guess if he misses, maybe they activate Chris Conley and use him as the wide receiver 4, but I don't know if I want to go to any of the wide receivers outside of those top 3 that I mentioned. Okay, so that's Tennessee. Let's move on to Green Bay. So Green Bay, Rodgers, Jones, Lazard, those guys are all going to play. They were just listed as probable, so fully expect them to play. Running back, it's going to be a split with Jones and Dillon. Should be like a 70-30 split. That's what we've been seeing recently for Green Bay. You saw 45 of the 64 snaps for Jones, 24 of the 64 for A.J. Dillon. Jones is the guy with the higher ceiling, but he's also priced way up. He is a bit more involved in the passing game as well, so Aaron Jones, definitely the running back with the higher ceiling, but I do think A.J. Dillon is still in play. Still saw 13 carries, still a bit involved in the passing game as well, so we'll see what the ownership comes in at, but I'm guessing a lot of the field will look to Aaron Jones. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's playable, as is Tannehill. Like, more often, I probably give you like 15-ish fancy points. Fine. Wide receiver, so Lazard, Watson, those should be the top 2 wide receivers. Watson had a massive game last game, 4 catches, 8 targets, 3 touchdowns. Don't think we can expect that. But him and Lazard played the most. So those are the 2 guys that I do like in the passing game. You saw 63 of the 64 snaps for Lazard, 54 of the 64 for Watson. I feel like Watson every game gets injured or goes to the tent, so you always got to deal with that injury risk. But yeah, Lazard and Watson, the 2 guys that I do like here. If a lot of the field goes to Watson because the last game, I probably would give the edge to Lazard, but we'll see what ownership comes in at for those 2 guys. We mentioned A.J. Dillon. Tight end, Robert Tonyan to 5'8", just kind of there. Didn't do much last game, but he is their pass-catching tight end. He played in 41 of the 64 snaps, so he's fine in the mid-range. Sammy Watkins snaps did go down as they should have. He's complete dust at this point in his career, but he played the 3rd most amount of snaps at wide receiver, played 21 of the 64. I will mention Randall Cobb could be back for this game, so if he's back, that would just make Watkins even riskier. The kicker situation, Mason Crosby, good value in both formats. Kickers always feel to go a bit under-owned in GPPs. The Packers defense also in play. Again, this is not a lot of points projected, and neither defense is super expensive. So the defenses are both fine. The other tight ends for Green Bay, they did play 3 other tight ends. DeGuara played 13 snaps. Mercedes Lewis played 37 snaps, but only played on 7 passing plays. Tyler Davis played on 4 snaps. So tough to really prioritize any of those guys. Then I mentioned Randall Cobb. He could be activated for this game. If he is, I actually do like him at $200. So monitor that. If he misses, then again, main 2 receivers should be Watson and Lazard, with Watkins getting some snaps and probably a few snaps for a guy like Samori Toure. So, yeah, we mentioned the tight ends, right? It's DeGuara. The other tight ends, DeGuara, Mercedes Lewis. I mean, again, Mercedes Lewis played on a lot of snaps. I think he had 1 catch last week. Just really a dart throw. So, and yeah, that's kind of it. It's, again, guys, it's a really unappealing slate with 2 kind of dusty offenses, low-scoring game. But that's a lot of the times that's what Thursday Night Football is. So that's going to wrap up the video. If you have been enjoying the NFL DFS content, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I already do have a video up breaking down the Week 11 slate early look. So make sure to check that out, guys, as well. And thanks again. I'll see you in the next